Hello, welcome to the channel. It's me, Kristofer Brooks, for another LSB film podcast, and I hope everyone's well today. Buckle up, because today we're joined by the man who's made local news without even buying a press pass. Picture this, a character who spins controversy like a DJ spins vinyl, whose name appears in stories about rat hunting and court warrants faster than you can say ex-partaker of peaceful dissent. But before you have assumed that we have invited a cartoon villain onto the show, let me reintroduce Michael Photiou, because every podcaster needs at least one guest who keeps the editor up all night. He is the Chester area agitator, a whistleblower wannabe, and the guy whose activity keeps local police on speed dial. So grab your coffee, grab your popcorn, or your sense of journalistic adventure, because we are diving into the world of Michael Photiou. What drives him, what shocks him, and what on earth he will say once the spotlights are on him. Michael, welcome to the show. Let's stir the pot.
Are you concerned about all this corruption being rebranded as conspiracy theory? Well, don't you worry. Sit back and relax and join in the conversation with today's guest. Welcome to another LSB Film Productions podcast with your host, Chris Brooks.
You're brave, right?
Yeah. So, yes, welcome to the channel, Mikey. Welcome to the podcast, rather. I'm glad to see you're still a free man as we speak.
Yeah, free as a bird. Yes, just the restricted movements. Like at the moment, currently tucked away in Scotland, enjoying nature.
Well, you've been everywhere on Facebook. You've been in Scotland. You've been in Jamaica. You've been shaking hands with diplomats. You've been doing all kinds of strange shit.
Mate, it's a double-edged sword.
Talk about living the high life.
It's hilarious what's going round, but at the same time, every fucker's putting my face round more. The first batch of illegal warrants I'll end up getting remanded for, because I've essentially I've had warrants, at least one warrant after me since my birthday, 2022. The only time I've not had the warrant after me is when I was unlawfully detained. That was the judge's words, for 70 days over the Taunton case and the Chester case, where the Taunton one, no evidence entered. They didn't want my evidence in there. And the Chester one, abuse of process, it got kicked out. And that was after they illegally resurrected it anyway. So other than that period in jail and about 4 months afterwards, is the only time since 2022 September that I've not had warrants after me. It's bullshit. And this warrant, I'll go into it a little bit later in the interview and I'll go into depth, but this is over me representing someone in court. And I'm the only one that's not broken the law. You can't make it up.
Well, we do live in an upside down world, don't we?
Oh, it's where it's completely inverted because of the
Absolutely is, yeah. So let's go back then to a little bit back in the past. What did you serve? I can't quite make out what your
I was in the Corps of the Royal Engineers.
Okay.
Yes, because my berry it triggers all the veterans. They can't get past their egos, a lot of them. So I get so much shit online about wearing my berry. Everyone calls me a Walter Mitty, and they don't actually hear the words or see anything we're actually exposing. It's like if you literally watch what we're exposing and jump on board, you're being fucked over on your mortgage. You're basically fucked over at every angle. So, but people can't get past the berry. It's just
ego is edging God out.
Oh mate, yeah, I like that, edging God out.
That's my favourite saying. I still suffer from it occasionally, I'm not going to lie.
Mate, we all suffer. We need an ego, otherwise we'd die. But it's just we've all been tricked into thinking we're something we're not. We don't realise that we're actually spiritual beings having a human experience and blah, 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 blah. We're self-healing. We can control our subconscious mind, so we can control our healing, all this stuff.
I can do a lot of breathing exercises.
Yeah, breathing exercises, all that kind of stuff. I don't do anything. I do nothing to help myself. I'm terrible. I have my on and off occasions. But ultimately, we also come to the satanic program, and we all automatically call it your emotional response. But we all, when we get triggered, every one of us tends to slip back into our childhood program. You've seen me do it a lot on the videos, and again, it's and it's all by design. That we're all easily triggered, and we're doing things. We're using our logical mind and all this lot, and trying to articulate stuff. And the reality is, it's kind of like we're all getting it a little bit wrong because we're all trying to do it with our intellect and our knowledge when it's all about the feeling. God is a feeling. Everything's a feeling. Everything's vibration. Everything's
frequencies.
But they've got us all trapped in our heads, operating from Radio Mikey, if you like, or Radio Ego, when that's the last one we want to listen to.
And they've also got us all operating in the lowest frequency there is, which is fear.
Yeah, and then you look at certain flags that have flown. Where what they've done, they've taken one chakra out, inverted it, and that particular lot, buried in pride's a deadly sin, let's just say, and they've got them going straight in the back door chakra, haven't they? They got them upside down. So
even the swastika was the symbol of peace, wasn't it?
yeah, they've inverted everything. 666, all these numbers, they've inverted absolutely fucking everything.
Yeah, 666 is a good angel number if you're into numerology.
I sort of touch on numerology because that directly with my case ongoing at the moment, not say case, with this bullshit ongoing at the moment. So I had a really good contact, or I thought he was. I'm very tempted to name drop the little prick. But anyway, this guy was great.
Don't land me in any trouble by
No, I won't. No, it's putting my life in danger. But yeah, basically this cunt, after systematically fucking screwing me over and trying to make me isolate myself, making up shit about some very trusted people, and trying to make me break trust with people. He's then, when I realised I was onto him, the cunt fucking shot me into the old fucking bill and tried to blame me ex-missus. And then since that occasion, the old bill went knocking at this address that was given. It was a friend's house that I wasn't staying at. And then they've been back there twice. The 2 times they've gone back there was on the 1st of the 11th, 2025, which is 119, 9/11. And then they went round at the weekend as well, trying to collect me to harvest the energy for the 5/11 date, right? And this might be in retaliation to my document from my little 9/11 play game from the 1st of the 11th, 2025, 1119111. And I thought I'd serve it on them then, and I'll give you that, and you can put that in the public, mate. I've got it out in the public at the moment because they've ignored all my paperwork. Is irrefutable. They've got fuck all jurisdiction, and they're a bunch of fucking idiots. So
always get shit on public record.
Well, this is what I'm realising. I've been going to the private, and you got the legends such as Vince and all this lot. They made a big deal of making things public, whereas I've never wanted really everyone to know my name. Just by default, certain little things have happened, and just whatever I can do, my face keeps getting put out there. So now I thought, sonic it, I might as well with it. So
I think as long as you've corrected your standing, you can still stay in the private, but you can still put something on public record, so it's out there.
Absolutely. What is public record? Social media. I mean, Facebook's public record these days. Your platform's public record. Everything's public record. If it's out in the public, it's out in the public.
Yeah. So,
because the other thing I don't buy into, I don't do none of this witnesses and all this shit. I don't need witnesses. I've got God as my sole witness. I don't need 2 or 3 men to stand there and say, yeah, he signed it. I know I signed it. I was there when he did it.
That's the same as an affidavit, isn't it? It's a statement of truth.
That's bullshit. That's their rules. I don't need 3 people or some public bell end to witness anything. These are my words. I don't need a witness. God's my witness. He's seen me do it. If you want to claim that I didn't write all this, improve it. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't. Whether you've got 1,000 witnesses or your cat's watched you or no witnesses, this whole list of shit you still need to rebut, or you can go fuck yourselves.
What made you, when you came back from the service, how long have you been out of service now?
Ages. I got out in 2004. I joined in 1996. I come about. So I go into a little story why I joined and all that. Just a little crash course.
Yeah, sure.
Well, look, I went into just fucked up childhood like everyone else. Ended up in foster care at 13. Foster sisters went to a combined cadet force that had an RAF section, okay, and it had a Royal Engineers section. Sorry, RAF. So anyway, I went there, and because my foster sisters were in the RAF section, I went and done that, and it was great. But then was going away with the army lot all the time, and I was hanging around with them. So we went to Adventures Training, I think it was, and I'll come back and say, I have all that shit, give me the green stuff. And that was it, really. From the age of 13, Royal Engineer Cat Badge, and that was it. This is what I'm going to do. So, and it went from there. So anyway, fast forward. When I was 17, my mum died, and that was the catalyst. She died and it essentially left my older brother in debt. He's dead now as well. He's 2 years older than me. And I thought, I need to make something of myself. And that was the catalyst to make me go and sign up. So yeah, that was that really. Just after 18, I signed my oath of allegiance, and off I went. And that was that, with the plan to be a 22-year career soldier. But unfortunately, through my career, I started getting severe sciatica and all these issues whilst in Germany. I ended up taking these 2-a-day painkillers like Smarties. And I was in with the doctor who just hooked me up with painkillers. And the majority of the time, I was cracking on doing my job. Anyway, through a chain of events, because I was a brilliant soldier, a nightmare with a couple of beers inside me. Transpires I was an alcoholic, separate story. But I ended up on it was section competitions, and then which is like a cross thing across Germany, where you got loads of engineers sections and from all units all coming there, and it's just a big competition thing, testing all your soldiering skills. Now, our section commander had to leave early doors, so I was the senior sapper, like the senior private, the senior soldier without rank. The section commander, old Kev, he had to cut away for whatever reason. So the 2IC, which was Pete, he stepped up into that position, and I become 2IC. And then I think it was a day or two towards the end, I think his missus dropped the baby or something. He had to cut away, which put me as section commander. And I think we come third or something. So all the powers that be see this on paper, as opposed to that naughty shit getting in trouble all the time at the bar, and said shit. And they put me on the carder, which is the course you've got to do, get promoted. Everyone else had like months and months notice to prepare. I had like a weekend. I got my shit packed, went on the carder, ripped my ligaments on day 10, couldn't go officially sick. So we agreed, right, I won't do all the daily fizz, but I'll do the competition stuff. And they agreed with that. And I battled through and blah, blah, blah. And I was 4th out of 40 blokes, instantaneous promotion. So with that, you put in your thing where you want to go. And I'm like basically dog squadron anywhere in Germany. And if I've got to go back to that shitty UK, Maidstone, because it's up the road from Hastings where I live. So they ignored all of that and posted me to 6-3 training support squadron in Gibraltar Barracks in Camberley, Blackwater Camberley, which is your engineer training place. And that was that. I wasn't in with the doctors, went on a 5-mile run, shuffled in, could barely walk. It was some foreign some foreign civilian doctor. He's used to that being training camp to everyone blagging it. So he's like, I'll put you on remedial PT. I lost my shit in its entirety. They got all the tests done. The MRI scan come back with 2 prolapse discs, and the bloods come back with ankylosing spondylitis. Now, ankylosing spondylitis is some hereditary disease that I'm going to grow out of him. I thought it was a load of bullshit. It never existed. Because obviously, after the last 5 years and the rabbit holes I've been down, I now know that the army vaccines have caused my autoimmune disease. And I also know it's because of my blood group. I'm Reese negative, A negative. And that's one of the significant blood groups they want to wipe out because it holds the remnants. What's
the symptoms of your autoimmune?
At the moment, I'm informational overshoot. I'm in pain all the time. You would have seen in videos, I'm straightening up my spine now with a bit of chiropractor and self-chiropractic. But essentially, it's a hyperimmune system that attacked me. And it shows up by way of inflammation of joints and then fusion of the joints. So I've got fused SI joints, fused in my neck, fusion on this. I'm in loads of work on my spine and my back and what have you, straighten myself up. But I mean, I'm in significant pain most of the time. Like right now, I'm all right. When I get up, I'm in agony. When I'm moving around, I'm okay. As soon as I stop, I'm in agony. It is what it is. You get used to it. I've been in pain since I was 19.
I should think being in water is probably the most comfortable. Maybe, yeah. No.
Being in water is amazing, because in water, with that buoyancy, what I can do is physically push my neck up and make the top of my spine crack. So that's really good.
No, that's cool.
Yeah.
So how does somebody then that's gone from being into like the army?
Oh, sorry. Sorry. So because of all that,
right,
I got permanently downgraded. Too much bullshit because it was training reg. So I signed off on a year's notice, and that was that. So that was signed up 96, left in 2004. Sorry, mate.
No, that's fine. It makes a change. It's you. No. But again, I still forgot your point. No. So, how does somebody then who's gone from the army, because it's quite a regimented discipline, and a lot of people in the army, the police, you would think that they have all been kind of established eyes because of you're fighting for the country. Blah, 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 blah. So how does somebody who's gone from that role switch it and go into the role of where you're kind of anti-establishment, anti-government, and what was the catalyst for that change?
Well, I've always been anti-authority since day one, since school, since everything. I've resisted against it. I mean, on paper, in the army, I had a charge sheet as long as your arm, always getting in trouble on the piss. Massively. But I've got 27 charges of drunken things in Civil Street as well, which is ridiculous. And then my life's changed. Even resisting the army because you got that childhood program kicks in, and I was often stood in front of sergeant majors and this, that, and the other, heels together, all of that shit. But I couldn't help. My face can't lie. So I'm trying to be serious, but my face is smiling. I start laughing and getting even more shit. So I've always resisted against it. Now, the whole waking up thing is very weird because it transpires when I was alcoholic. I had been since I was 11 years old and got drunk for the first time. that's that. And the symptoms are very simple. That you ain't got to be drinking every day. You might only drink once a month, but it might be a case of when you pick up that first drink, you can't stop drinking.
Okay.
That hasn't got to be every day. There's lots of these ways. More people are alcoholics than you realise. But it needed to happen. Obviously, alcohol is to destroy the soul. So I left the army, smashed
spirits.
Street. Well, smashed through Civil Street, loads of different jobs, and I've ended up in 2019 when all this shit show started to happen. By then, I was fully 24/7 drinking. I was living in St. Neots. I was on probation anyway from drink driving and other stupid shit. And I couldn't get any help. So I was desperate to get back to Hastings because what I'd done, I got into sales and marketing and I was very good at what I did. So I ended up chasing the end of the rainbow because I was earning good money. And then you end up just chasing it because I get headhunted by people because I was good at what I did. So traveling over there, ended up in St. Neots. Probation wouldn't let me go to Hastings. So I went back to Hastings anyway. Now, a lady I know from young through a mate's parents ended up renting a room there. Just park that there. I've always been into the sort of the tinfoil hat stuff on YouTube. It's just fascinating to me. Take it or leave it. All the kind of tinfoil hat stuff. I've always been into that just as entertainment. Let's park that again. And then try to remember what I was saying. So yeah, so I was renting a room. And when I say 24/7 drinking, I mean vodka in the daytime mostly. Washed down with a mouthful of Lucozade, and I'll have my bottle of rosé wine. So when I wake up in 2 a.m, that pretty much gets down with 2 spliffs back to bed, and that was my routine, and that was that. And by now, the whole COVID thing started going there, and the masks were happening, and this was happening, and it was great because everyone was isolating. I've been practicing for 2 years isolating. I mean, I had more spots to go and drink by myself from a bottle of vodka, and then fill it back up with tears. It's quite pathetic. And there was a little voice in my brain going biological warfare. But I ignored that because I was a raging pisshead and I was just daily drinking. Things started getting uncomfortable at the house because I kind of I suppose I overstayed my welcome. They had a baby on the way, and I tried to kill myself. Didn't help because of
what was causing all this then? Why were you drinking so much? What was the cause?
Well, this goes back to the shoulder program, right? All I ever learned was that's how we deal with stuff, and then that's it from cognitive learning from my parents and people I've been around. It was just my really poor coping mechanism.
So was the suicide as a result of that?
Well, no, just as a general result, because of obviously I was just sick. I weren't happy. I become everything I hated.
Oh, okay.
I lost all respect for myself. I was completely broken. But if we don't get broken, we've got no cracks and we can't let the light in, right? And this is why I'm grateful it happened, because of obviously it got to the point I was battling. I was working with the East Sussex Veteran Hub. I had a support worker, a criminal support worker, whatever they're called, from CGL, Change Road Live, and they were great. And they pulled everything together. They got me into rehab, or got me booked into rehab, got me booked into detox. Now, my original rehab was, I can't remember top of my head, some absolute shithole place that will probably pop in my mind in about 10 minutes. Anyway, and it was still just too far for me, and I had enough. So I got 120 cocodamol, smashed it down with half a bottle of vodka, sent just a couple of messages out, as you do, like saying goodbye and apologising. Yeah. So little things trigger me because one of those was that's my brother.
I can fully understand that.
No, because he killed himself.
Well, no, I can't fully understand that. That's a blatant lie, but I can appreciate that that's where it takes you.
Yeah, no, all it is, when I talk about this story, it triggers the fact that my brother did kill himself in the end. So yeah, anyway, but then I went to sleep and I was in it because I faced death a few times, and it's very peaceful, and I got that sign of peace, and that was it. And I thought I was gone. I woke up 4 hours later, spewing up black shit. So I had to go to hospital. So yeah, that didn't help the fact because, like the lady said, what if a young son walked in and found me, and I'm so sorry. So I had to get out of there, kind of thing. Luckily I had a good mate, Ash, and I got a bit of help of Sapper. So what I was doing, because he had his kids over the weekend, so there wasn't enough room in the house. So on a Sunday through to a Thursday, I was there, and the weekends, Sapper was paying for me to stay in B&Bs whilst he was waiting for me to go rehab. So yeah, but anyway, they tried killing myself. That changed the whole trajectory, and it needed to happen. Sounds weird, because that's when the synchronicities happened. Because that's when I went to Bridge House, which is one of the best detox centres in the UK. 10 days physical detox, which is the hardest part, is the physical side. Once that's done, well, sorry, it's not the hardest part. Sorry, that's the easy bit because they smash with loads of injections of vitamins up your bum, and you feel great. So that got rid of the physical side of it. Sorry, let me just get my thoughts together. Yeah, and this is where the trajectory changed and the synchronicities. Obviously, wall engineers, bridge building, Bridge House. And then from there, I went to one of the best rehabs. It was a really good rehab, the Nelson Project it was, up in Stroud. And now again, synchronicities. Their head office was on Port Lane. Port is traditional with the Royal Engineers that you have a little sip of port before you go on parade or go and do whatever else. And so it began. And then I've gone through that and end up 27 weeks rehabilitation. Best thing I did, completely rewire radio mic, and that was that. And I was the underdog there. I think nearly everyone there's relapsed apart from me. I smoke weed now, but I haven't touched alcohol since I gave up.
What's the old meme? God created weed, man created alcohol. Who do you trust? Although the trouble is, weed these days, it's that whole old hydroponic stuff.
Oh, mate,
old weed, back when the hippies smoked it. There's different stuff to what you get now.
Mate, the older grey stuff is the good stuff. Nowadays, and again, it's a dupe. You're getting these medical cards to go and get this medical cannabis for people who have got permission to grow it. It's got government authority. Do you not think they're going to fuck with that like they do everything else? Have a word, people. And it happens to be cheaper an ounce off your dealer. No.
I also know of somebody who just got done for driving under the influence of cannabis, even though they've got one of those medical cards.
It's a catch-22 situation, but then this is where we come into jurisdiction arguments and all this stuff. And this is where the Yvonne Watson stuff and all this, like, I'm just working on some documents now to cross-section it all, because of what this is inherently doing is evidencing that everything attached to the full cap's name, including all the legal proceedings, is bullshit. There's a gap jurisdiction. And this is where it's mental, because they're literally, all this shit they're giving me isn't about me. It's about tapping up my Sescabee account via full cap's name. And they know it.
Have you heard? Oh, there's another trust which I where was it? In Great Yarmouth, I attended a conference, if you like, with Peter Stone, and he mentioned a trust. Is it the Siri Trust or Cirrus Trust or?
I don't know. I'm reasonably versed in most things, but the only trust I'm interested in is a private express trust, also a private trust, and that's it. Everything else is bollocks, in my opinion. Yeah, well, I suppose it depends. Different trusts for different scenarios. But ultimately, what do we need a trust for? You only really need a trust, really, to put property in. Everything belongs to God anyway.
But the trouble is, even people who have put their homes in trust are still getting their homes taken away from them.
It's because I don't think it's set up properly, and B, we're in a lawless society. And this is where, and this is just where we're going to get the little breaks through, and we're going to get we're literally turning into the movie Demolition Man, right? And at the moment, you've got those of us getting the knowledge and everything else, and we're going to be stepping outside the system. We're getting all this stuff with the Yvonne Watson case, all these little golden nuggets, his latest thing with the Mazur thingy and council tax and liability orders, yada, yada, yada. So all these things are compiling. The way I see it, we're kind of funneled at the moment. There's a load of us here, and there's a road of truth, and people are slowly sidestepping onto it from different walks of life. You've got us like the complete lunatics, know everything about the bioweapon, this, that, and the other. And then you've got the gateway drug, which is council tax. And then you've got the illegal immigrants, and you've got the danger to children. And they're the kind of things that are the gateway drug to bring the normies across on board with us. Because whether you're left or you're right, but you all want the same thing. The only difference between the left and the right is knowledge. That's it. Again, I've gone off on a tangent and missed the point. What was the question?
That was a good tangent, though. I don't necessarily know if there was a question based to that.
Oh, it's to do with trust, wasn't it? The trust.
Well, yeah, I just said that there's people who are still losing their homes, even though they're putting it into trusts and stuff. And you're saying that a lot of that is down to knowledge.
Well, a lot of it as well, it's down to the fact that they're ghosts. This is all happening from the ghost cause. There's nothing lawfully happening here. This is coming from the magistrates, where it's a corporation hasn't got a soul, can't do shit, can't sign nothing, and everything else. And this is where the liability order thing that's just happened is golden across the board. So everything they're operating from, it's all fraudulent. They're fraudulent. Everything's fraudulent. They're just downloading it and just clicking all these warrants and this, that, and the other, and they're all bullshit. They're all bullshit. There is no signature or name attaching it to the little pretty picture at the top of the document, attaching it to the office. So there's no accountability, which is in breach of their civil service code and the seven Nolan principles anyway, if you want to use their stupid shit. So it's all bollocks. Now, what this Mazur thing does about this latest one, which was made in the public about the council tax and anything to do with anything with this, liability orders can only be signed off for by essentially a qualified person who's going to be held accountable. But now this cross sections, because take out council tax and just say full cap's name. Everything they're coming at us with the full cap's name, we've got the same argument now. Supported by the Yvonne Watson case, the living woman, the gap jurisdiction, because she's not the full cap's name. period. And that full cap's name is everything. When they're coming for your house, it's after the full cap's name. Everything they're coming from, everything they write to you, even if it's not writing in full caps and they're writing with the Mr., the lowest title on a ship, if they're writing to you as Mr. or any of these versions of it, it's all irrelevant. It all goes back to your full caps name, all goes back to whatever code. So it all goes back to the same thing anyway. So the whole point in here, and with the name play and the words come into play, and the significance of this, to get my thoughts together whilst waffling, the mortgages. So the reason this is happening is because we're getting no remedy in the court system because people are getting energy harvested by doing all this paperwork. But what we're actually doing, if you think about the contradiction I'm about to say, we like to talk about the Clearfield Doctrine that all administrative courts were dissolved in 2008. So now when everyone's writing to an administrative court, you know it doesn't exist. Then the presumptions of law, we hand it to them because we're entertaining a court that doesn't exist. They're all ghost courts. The magistrates are ghost court. I think in 1996, everything got incorporated. I think, was it not 2016 maybe? I forget the dates. Police, everything got incorporated, everything. And this is what it's about. So actually what we're dealing with, everything in the HMCTS is not judicial. It's HMCTS. It's bullshit. It's UK. It requires consent. Everything coming from that. And the reason there's no signature is because it's corporation versus corporation, which is your full caps name.
It is essentially just contract law. That's all there is.
Yeah. And so coming back onto the mortgage thing is people are still losing their houses because we're in a lawless society and they're just going ahead with this. So this latest thing with the Mazur judgment thingy, combined with the Yvonne Watson case, this is gold. This proves we're not the full caps name, and it proves that there has to be the signature and liability by way of a person taking liability by putting their name to a document now. Those two are game changers across the board. Anything UK, because people need to understand, forget grass and waters. The UK is a foreign jurisdiction. It is not English, it is not Welsh, and it is not Scottish, and it is not the land of. It is maritime law, it is Roman law, and this is why it's two-tier policing. The police come under the common law, foreigners come under the common law, citizens, which a citizen means you work for the government, and we're by implication as citizens, according to them. Yeah, this is why we're getting...
The same with the DVLA, isn't it? We have their plates because they're company cars, essentially, so we have to adhere to their company policies. That's the same thing.
This is where we've all been tricked into accidentally contracting. We've all accidentally contracted with DVLA because we've registered, and we've just entered a contract. Whatever they
HMRC.
Them ones. Again, with them, nothing in law says you've got to do business with them. Yet we all go and sign up to them because we think we have to. And now,
this is it. What is it? I read somewhere or heard somewhere that unless you fill in your first tax return, you've got no obligation to fill in the tax return. But once you've filled that first one in, they've got you.
Mate, well, you can revoke your consent at any time because you was brought into that contract. Now, under contract law, there needs to be a meeting. You need full disclosure. You need a meeting of the minds, time to consider the offer. You need to be of sound amount of capacity, and then you need to accept the offer. Where was that meeting of the minds? Where was
and if they try and get you down the you're loony, well then it's all right, I'm loony, but then our contract's null and void, isn't it?
Well, yeah, well, that's perfect.
Because I wasn't a sound mind.
I should never. Then that voids the contract anyway.
Yeah,
you pricks. This is beauty. I mean, this is the. Although it's not good to dance with the devil, legislation is funny. Although it's completely irrelevant because they subverted the constitution, which is high treason, which means all legislation void anyway, and we can actually lawfully gather a militia and overthrow these pricks lawfully. Not encouraging to do that because that would be terrible.
That would be wrong. Have you seen what's happening in Nepal? Nepal?
Yeah, they got it right. Well, over here, we're too scared. But you'll go and get a load of people, go and get permission of the police to do these little gay marches, to go and listen to a load of paid opposition and controlled opposition, to give them their energy, whilst they're all getting harvested, because to resist is to assist, because the energy, unless you're down there full of love and light, anyway, whatever, they're harvesting it. That is where was obviously legally we can't go around the MPs' houses. Fuck off. 1 million people in London, divvy that up, go to all your local MPs' houses, get on there in cases.
Well, to be fair, I don't see why they can't.
Because we should be in the private. And then anyone government is a citizen, and we should know everything about them because they serve us. But they've inverted that. They know where we live. They've got a DNA. They know everything about us. We should be going to their houses and go and invade their privacy, let them know how it feels. Because otherwise we're just acquiescing, really. We're laying back and letting them do what they want. What's the point of going down to Parliament? I'm really angry. You're a dickhead. What's that achieving?
Doesn't achieve jack
No,
shit.
you go around their fucking house, even in silence, and you go and hand them a fucking notice. That's different. That's psychological warfare. They're arsing.
Well, it's the whole fact that they hide behind that there's no accountability. So
Yes.
if they know there's no accountability, they don't care if there's 2, 5, 25, 200, however many people outside Parliament Square, because they're still going home to their comfy house with their family and their nice food and their expenses all paid for. They don't give a shit. All you're doing is giving them confirmation that you think that they've got some power over you because you're asking them to back off.
They're laughing at us. And then you'll go and get people begging them with a petition. So what is a petition doing? It's begging, and you're giving authority where there is none.
Yeah, I have said this. I mean, I have still shared petitions as favours, but I do agree with you that you're just asking the arsehole to be less of an arsehole.
But yeah, I mean, there's things need to happen. There's examples need to be made. Nuremberg's a good example, isn't it?
Yeah.
But then at some point, this is going to collapse. And we're on a timeline. It's a divine time. We're on it. Not a great deal we're doing. One of the biggest things people could be doing, it's great doing all this stuff. We do need to battle this. However, the trick most of us miss, it's meant to be a truth community. But what I've noticed is, I mean, I'm very accountable. I'm very self-accountable. And it's a nightmare. But a lot of people aren't, and they're into all this woo-woo shit, and they think banging a few drums, taking a bit of acid. That's me. I'm now dimension 12, whatever it is. But most people aren't even self-accountable.
No.
Most people aren't wanting to look in the mirror and have a serious, truthful conversation with the person looking back at them. And that's the one person you need to be honest with. That's the one person you need to be truthful with.
I am my own worst critic.
You would think I'll get commissioned no matter I'll pump this out. But The Man in the Glass, beautiful poem. And it says it all basically. To break it down, you can lie to everyone, you can appease everyone else, and you could do this and you could do that, but at the end of the day, if you're shitting on yourself. If you're not being honest with yourself, you're shitting on yourself. And this is where, on the journey of me waking up, it's a physical thing. I can't do it. I can't do the license. I can't do their bullshit. It's a physical resistance. I know it's bullshit. Why am I going to entertain it? Because at the end of the day, our body, we are the divine trust. We are that. God is the executor. I am the beneficiary. My soul is the trustee. Period. Common law was invented to protect three things. It's kind of backing up God's law. So we can protect our mind, protect our bodies, and protect our property. And that's where the right of being out and the right of self-defense comes in, and the right to bear arms. And that still very much stands. As I say,
I do think we need to kind of, I don't know, I think divine natural law over common law, because common law is pretty much dead now, whether we like it or not. As far as the courts go, it's not really. But common law comes from natural law. So can we not just cut out the middleman and go back to natural law? Because we talk about God.
Because the common law thing is also a bit of a joke. Because what is the common law? It's the common law of the collective people.
It's laws made by man for man. But people will say that although that is the case, it's with divine intention.
Yeah, but common law needs to come from the Constitution, and the Constitution is founded on natural law. If it goes against natural law, it's void from the get-go.
Okay, yeah, I agree with that.
It's as simple as that. Because if we look at the Abraham Covenant, all this kind of stuff, and whatever you're into, what is it? God embedded in it. So we embedded ourselves because we are God. God embedded in us. We've got a conscience. This is where we got the law embedded in our hearts and our mind. This is where we might have an emotional, if you like, child type, like emotional reaction, initial response. And then our subconscious catches up, like the sensible part was catching up. And then you suddenly feel guilty. Shit, I shouldn't have said that. And now you're apologizing because we got it in us. We know what's right and wrong. A dog, a child knows what's right and wrong. You just know. You inherently know what's right and wrong. And basically, it's really not hard. If you don't like a thing done to you, then it's probably
someone else.
wrong to do to someone else, isn't it? It really isn't rocket science. And this is the difference between legal and law, which people don't understand. Legal is a constraint of rules of control. law, real law, do what you want. Just don't hurt anybody. Don't rip anybody off.
Legal, at the end of the day, legal is just commerce.
No, legal is basically just maritime law. It's the private jurisdiction of the UK where mum kindly signed us up to because she was tricked. Dad grafted us up as the informant. And if you look at the third date down, that's the date of the start of your Sesquivir account. Period. That's what's going on there.
What is your future? How do you see where you are and where we are collectively in the next, I don't know, 5 years?
I can't even think 5 years ahead. Mate, I can't even think 30
Pretend,
days.
for fuck's sake.
My life in general has like literally gone like that.
You're a bit of a roller coaster just talking to you here, mate.
Mate, you want to climb inside my head.
Mate, I feel like I am inside your head.
Quick, get the medication out.
Oh,
sorry, I don't mean over talking. I'm terrible for it. I shouldn't have.
That's all right. It's all right. I just
see.
I'm not, and people watching this will probably agree. I'm not a particularly good interviewer. I ask shit questions, and yeah, I'm not I'm a facilitator. My job is using my platform so you can have your voice, not listen to me.
Just chatting to you now, and chatting to you before we went live. I've picked up on the thing, and I want to pick you up on this,
okay?
Because this is picking up everybody, because a lot of people does this. Again, when I was in rehab, I kept getting told I've got no self-compassion because the way I spoke about myself and little Mikey.
Mm-hmm.
I heard it enough times that I started looking into it, and now I'm going to explain it to you. What do you think I'm about to pick you up on?
My feeling of imposter syndrome, the not being good enough, self-talk, self-loathing talk.
Well, no, but listen, I'd love to explore that with you, and I'd love to chat to you private. I'm good at helping people with this stuff. I love it. But it's the self-talk.
Yes.
When I'm not a good interviewer, and when you're making that closing statement, I am such a powerful statement.
That is.
And by saying that, your subconscious, which is what you're trading, which takes control of everything. This is why we don't think about breathing, don't think about driving, don't think about these things, because our subconscious does it, because of the repetition factor. And this is where we've got to be careful, because that's a sign of lack of self-compassion. And most of us do this. So I would encourage everybody to realize at this stage you just become consciously incompetent. We're going from unconsciously incompetent. So, and then start trying to catch this. So when you've done it and you're like, shit, I've done it again, I called myself a horrible name, just keep catching yourself internally. And then hopefully what will happen is that will start to catch up, and you'll catch yourself sooner and sooner and sooner until that inner dialogue changes. And you're now talking to yourself like the damaged inner child that we all are inside. If a 4-year-old makes a mistake, you don't say, you little cunt, you little mate, listen, you made a mistake. We know probably not to do it that way next time.
But if my 8-year-old does it, only joking.
Yeah. But my point is here. It's all
that's great. No, it's good.
Just find that love for yourself, because of obviously so within, so without. And what's really happening with society is, and I'm guilty, everyone's guilty of it. When we're seeing our traits in people we don't like, we then give that person shit. And we project all our shit onto people when it's actually ourselves we're not happy with. It's
Everyone absolutely. I would totally agree. Everyone and everything outside there, anything outside of you is a reflection of you.
Yeah. And bearing in mind, you've got like the, what was that thing when they split
the atom?
Or whatever, not the atom, whatever the fuck, the particles where it's
waved or
observed and not observed.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
This kind of proves to me that, I don't know, we're in a simulation of what it is, but we're in some sort of collective consciousness thing here, where, because at the end of the day, all these things that we can touch and that, everything's frequency, right? And I mean everything, sound, noise, smell, everything is. And all this is that we're seeing and tasting, smelling and touching is our personal subjective interpretation of that thing. If me and you stand here looking at something that's green, we're not seeing the same green.
I'm not.
We're just
colorblind.
We're definitely not then. So that emphasizes the point. But everyone's just got their own sort of their own thing going on, their own sort of perspective, if you like. But then you've got the collective one, because. And again, this is where the cycle comes in, and I think where we can manifest things into reality, which is one of the things that the true teachers of Jesus taught, not where they weaponized it and turned it into bullshit religion. And this is what he gets proven by all these different things: water into wine, walking in water, and all this lot. It's basically taking control of the frequencies and the elements and having a deep understanding of it, right? And this is why we can heal ourselves and why we can do all these wonderful things, and we can all get to that stage of sort of Christness, if you like, with a lot of discipline that most of us ain't got.
Have you heard of the sacred secretion?
Yes.
Yes, I practiced that for a little while, and I have to say I did see results. It's not an easy thing to follow, especially when you're married, because let's face it, Pornhub's a go-to. But no, I do believe in a lot of that, and I'll tell you what I'd like to see more of. And there's a couple of us in my group that are trying to push for this as well. We have all these truth movements and whatnot, and they've done this in America, and it was proven to work, where you have communities mass meditating for a particular outcome or something. And I can't remember where it was in America where they did this, but they saw crime drop and they saw loads of positive things happen. Why aren't we doing
Mate,
more of that? If this is a
mate, this,
spiritual
this,
war,
mate, it's a spiritual war. Exactly. Why can't we do more of that? It's a spiritual
exactly.
war. This is what they're doing to us on all these special days. Can we look at the dates they're trying to get me? They went round on their 119 date, and they went round on the 511 date to try and to fucking the harvest energy. It's all backfired because obviously they had to turn off the comments on their little hunt for me because everyone thinks the police are cunts. Oh mate. I forgot what I was saying again. Now I'm terrible.
Well, while you're trying to remember that, how do you see that playing out then? Because I assume you're not going to be on the run forever. So at
I
some
don't know. Well,
point, what do
eventually he's
you
going to catch
think?
up with me. But I mean, I suppose I might as well tell everyone what it's all about, right?
Yeah, come on.
I fingered my mate's rabbit. No, I didn't. Right. So, what happened was, cut that bit out. Right.
Yeah, like I'm going to sift through this for that.
Intrusive thoughts. Where did that come from? Right. So, this goes back. I've been persecuted. I might just give you the timeline. Right. So I woke up and then I went to a halfway house. Right. Which is basically like renting a room, but you've got to do your piss testing and shit as well. And I've done that to get a bit more sobriety under my belt. One of my housemates presented a video to me that her friend gave her. And it was Antalya Childs, the winner of the X Factor, exposing the Freemasons, right?
Yeah.
So I watched that, and I'd already was into the higher power stuff and that because of Alcoholics Anonymous and shit, which,
Yeah.
again, cult, walked away from that. Terrible language there, keeping you in the situation of I am an alcoholic. And halfway through that, I'm thinking, yeah, worship Satan, brilliant. By the end of it, I'm thinking, I need to get right with God. And then for me, it's just been about truth. All I want to know is truth. Whether I like it or not, truth is truth. So that started taking me down certain rabbit holes, and then obviously because the algorithms and my red pill stuff, I started seeing a few things about the Cobra stuff. I can't remember the exact chronological timeline. Then I've ended up on some random march in Manchester. Then I found out about the vaccine and this, that, and the other. So I went and bought a new berry, molded it really shitly, and then went by myself to a vaccine centre trying to turn people away from that, getting abused all day. And I was putting videos out there. And I used to drive around doing videos, and people getting to know my face. And I started to get recognised at the
rallies
process.
and stuff.
Yeah, because I was getting asked to go to the process as a veteran to wear my berries because it really excited the civilians getting the support of veterans. So I thought we'll roll with this, and that's how the whole berry thing come about. And me sticking it back on. So they've gone for all this. Now, my first arrest is been sober. We was called to a job, and now my friend Catherine Gedman, her name is. I hope you're watching. So yeah, we wanted a job, and she had a Gardens 300 thingy like card. That's another thing. So I started watching the Gardens 300 videos, and they really inspired me to end up going and doing their course and all this stuff. So it's on this job, right? And this woman was something to do with a kid. She chipped off with her kids, and they didn't steal it or whatever else. So we had the woman's keys, and we literally had to go to this house to get paperwork, which we did. In hindsight, I think it's a complete setup. Because whilst in the house, people were knocking on the door. Don't know whether they were social services undercover. And then when we left the property, this woman had left, so we followed her, and she called the police, and all the police turned up. So they put us in handcuffs and what have you. And then one of them pulled one of my IDs out of my wallet and said, "Yeah, that's him," which is really, anyway. That was all bullshit, and we proved with the paperwork that we had permission to be there, and it went nowhere. And obviously by now I've been on a couple of stages doing a couple of speeches, and I'd learned not long after that I've been on like over 30 police forces watch list. Didn't take me long at all. So and apparently traveling the country doing police hate speeches. Well, David Cunts. Right, so simple as that. And then I got arrested. Basically, I was traveling around everywhere, like shutting down like the vaccine centres, this, that, and the other as you do. Helping people do that because people asked me to come and support them. So I try and support them, sort of stand back, control the situation, and let whatever speakers speak and people do whatever roles they've got. Because I'm about empowering people, not like arresting them. When I was in 2021, that arrest, and then I got arrested down Windsor. I was down there with Steve Forsyth and the usual crowd. Dale Vincent was down there. And you see it on the end of his music video. You see me tucked in the corner in my handcuffs at the back. So I got a claim on the go for that one as well. So I got arrested there. That went nowhere. Where else I got arrested? I've been arrested everywhere, man. I just keep getting arrested. I've been arrested outside Liverpool Crown Court. That's an ongoing claim now. I got on my body camera because she left it running, that she changed the log. Taunton, got arrested in Taunton. Went down there, shut down the vaccine centre. We got arrested down there. It was me and Gabby from Taunton. We secured the evidence. The girl secured the evidence by way of video, but the unidentified security in breach of the Private Securities Act made and delete them of uninformed consent. I had the paperwork proof of non-informed consent. We called the police. The police turned up, didn't carry out an unimpartial investigation. My evidence disappeared. They just took the word of the unidentified security, and then they arrested me and my co-defendant. Because I stood under Rice versus Connolly 1966, and I wouldn't disclose my details because I ain't got to, 7 of them battered me with pressure points and everything else to get my fingerprints at the police station. That ended up with, I sent a notice of conditional acceptance on there saying no lawful cause of action, and it just got ignored, and that was my warrant out for me after that. So I kept getting arrested then, from like where I get arrested, then rearrested for that about 5 times over the years with that one. I went toe-to-toe calling out all the fraud with the judge, and she was going toe-to-toe me in the email. It's just crazy. They, after the back of the Chester stuff, which I'll tell you about in a minute, by them reminding me for the first 5 days, that settled the warrant. So I recontacted them, and then on the 18th of the 1st, 2023, I attended Magistrates Court, but she couldn't create joinder because I had my little fishing boat and all the documents to play about with. So she ran out of the court screaming like a banshee. I sat on it 24 hours, then put another first instance warrant out for me. So I kept getting rearrested on that. And then ended up with a warrant from Chester. So it was a dual application basically to remand me when they did catch up with me. That was eventually, the judge refused to look at our evidence, prove my innocence. When I was remanded second time, I was rattled down to Exeter Prison. I got thrown in front of Taunton. They brought a very high up district judge in. They had no evidence to enter, so that got kicked out. And then the Chester one was judged as abuse of process, unlawfully detained for 70 days in total. No remedy.
Shouldn't you be compensated for all these things which have been later then thrown out?
That's my retirement plan. I've got a few claims on the go at the moment with H&K. I'm trying to wrap them up with their own rules there because they refuse to take on a load of my claims, but they've got no lawful cause of action not to. They've taken on the malicious prosecution claim with Taunton, but not the unlawful arrest. But I can't disclose too much about that, probably too much already. Anyway, in this time as well, I had my car stolen outside my brother's. They knew I had, I think, 2 warrants out at this time. So I had to watch as they hire my motor away at my brother's. I was playing about with that. I had my own plates on it, as in like knocked a number plate off that wasn't registered with them. So it wasn't registered with them. Playing about the UCC stuff, registered the VIN number over there and my number plate and all this lot. That's still one I've got to follow through because they had no lawful cause of action. They never done me with anything, yet they stole my car. A year later, the storage company tried to give it back to me, but I said no, because it's under, basically the police need to return this in condition they stole it in. That's that. Lost that motor. Lost my second motor when they arrested me for this latest shit, which I'll get onto. I think I'm missing anything. So fast forward, I ended up living in Chester and having a house share with the Wake people, getting involved with everything, going around doing training with people, council tax training, blah, 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 blah. Now, Chester, the fun at Chester. Right. So Phil McLaughlin had a lot of cases on the go. He's been persecuted a lot by them as well. He's been unlawfully detained and all sorts. At his court case, the firearms officer, he literally committed perjury on the stand. I got kicked out of that because I was taking the piss. But he got committed perjury and the judge refused to do anything about it. The sergeant gave the number over and said, contact me. But he never picked up. So me and Phil went down to the police station. This was, I think it was about the summertime of 22 or 3, 22, I think. And we went to Chester Police Station, Blacon Police Station, to report this. And both ended up getting arrested. I can't make it up. And then released with no charge after about 12, 13 hours. I've got that claim on the go as well. And I think they've done that solely to identify me. So fast forward. Where I was living there, the landlord was having his mortgage dispute. He had multiple mortgages, settled it with the old promissory note factors. So it was when I went up there, I was with the Scouse boys and we was going around the property, standing down the bailiffs and doing what we do. And then it come to the day of the house we lived in. So it was a duel on the 1st of the 12th, 2022. 22 is my significant number. They was going for both houses booked in at the same time. So I made me educated guess, based on my military experience, they're going to put all their eggs in one basket. They're only going to go for one house. And my gut feeling was it's the one I was in. So I stayed there. Not a Freemason sign. Right. I stayed there. We had, I can't remember, maybe 10 people at one house. And there was a load of us at this house. And the bailiffs turned up. And all his videos were out there. And when the bailiffs turned up, I said there'll be no peaceful entry. I will defend this property up to and including death. And if I feel the need, I will use weapons. And I offered them their paperwork and their rules, peaceful entry only, no pushing past, blah, 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 blah. They didn't want it. So they fell off down the road. And then they obviously called the police. Before you know it, there's 15 police there supporting 8 bailiffs. And they had their warnings. I tried to give them a soft warning, but walk them out the hammer. At this stage, I didn't think the crossbow was appropriate. All this is on camera. The police had. My crossbow was in the house. And I had like a ninja stick there.
Such a fucking rebel.
Not really, man. I was doing what we can all do. So it was there with my big stick thingy, like ninja stick thingy, which I've got zero training with. It was like a big broomstick. Anyway, so I had that there. Anyway, they all started to climb over. So I got my big stick, smashed one in the chest because they all their egos in all their lying statements because they all talk shit and lie. And he claims that he never fell over and he wasn't all this and that. And he had another one threatened to knock me out because I gave him a slap because he was assaulting the landlord. So then we all tactically withdrew into the property, right? Everyone's around the door barricading it. You got them trying to drill the locks. I'm running up and down with buckets of water and shit, chucking them out of the water, chucking it on the bailiffs and everyone else. Anyway, bear in mind, all of these police and bailiffs, we showed them all of them the case law. The sergeant dismisses the case law was nonsense, right? This is Cheshire Police for you. Anyway, we're inside the house, up and down with the water. And now they failed with the front lock, they failed with the side doors, now they've gone around the back. Now, bearing in mind they tried coming at me saying that the hammer I had was an offensive weapon, but for the locksmith, it was an extended key. So what they done, they started to smash all the patio door windows. There's one bit you see in the video, I try and smash one with stickers, I miss them. And that was that. Now, I was prepared to shoot them if they come in the house. Unequivocally, am I right to do so? And they were warned they would leave in body bags if anyone comes in. So these 15 police supported 8 bailiffs. They smashed all the windows and they fucked off. If you look at the videos on Facebook, Big Steve's going around abusing them all. It's great. All of them know they're doing wrong. You've got the locksmith in the corner having a PTSD attack. They all fuck off. Anyway, coming the 12th of the 12th, I'm lying in bed. All right. Something's just not right about the atmosphere and the noise that I'm used to. So I get up, open my curtains, and there's 25 firearms officers, rounds in the chambers, fingers on the trigger, by the way of their body language, threatening to kill me. It's fucking hell. So I'm like, oh, shit the bed. Adrenaline kicks in. Guys, we've got the old bill at the door and everything else. I think Craig was the first one out, followed by Cat, whatever, and they started chatting to him. Then I followed through and was chatting to him because I just had to deal with some stuff in the house, let's say. And then, sorry, a little flashback.
I know what you mean.
So that's that, and we're there, and they bring the negotiator there, who's an idiot, who's wonky and everything else. They're there with a Section 8 warrant, right, from Carlisle's court. Bear in mind, every single warrant to date is fraudulent. From not Carlisle, Carlisle's court, right? Now, when we've gone down the road and got disclosure and looked at their application, it's just sort of based on the hearsay. It's bullshit. So anyway, they do all this. Anyway, they eventually arrest us all, nick us all, and then they literally drive the bailiff up and hand it over. And then they remanded me to Old Course Prison. I think I've done about 3 days local and 2 days in Old Course Prison. On the 16th of the 12th, 2022, there's a lot of confusion going around. Everyone's saying it's case law, this, that, and the other. It was my mate Craig that went down to the King's Bench. It was in the closed chambers. And yes, the judge did stipulate what a correct warrant was. But I don't think that no one's ever going to find anything on the record about that. So it's no point keep banging on about it. There's other case law. Anyway, coincidentally, I got released that day. I was just in the middle of kicking off from me and my little matey cell who couldn't speak English, trying to help him out. And then they suddenly just released me, got a letter from the CPS. Released, charges dropped, released pending further investigation under Section 4 public order. Then I suddenly get another one of these comical summaries through and everything else. I'm hold on. So I've emailed the police, I've emailed the courts, saying like literally in your legislation, you cannot reinstate a charge without new substantial evidence. Where's the evidence? And they ignored me. In the interim, my brother killed himself. I've got Taunton as well. I've got this one ongoing. I've emailed both courts saying, look, my brother's killed himself. I want to be able to go and deal with his affairs and go to his funeral. Let's set a new date and you have my word, I'll turn up. And they ignored me. Now, bearing in mind, my brother's best mate is now Chief Inspector of Hastings Police. And our last communications after the funerals, we're just in 2 different worlds. We can't talk anymore. So I couldn't go to my own brother's funeral.
That must have been hard.
It was, still is. So yeah, anyway, so now I've got a dual warrant out of me. I've got the warrant for Taunton and I've got the warrant for Chester. So I was living in Liverpool. I still do. I live in Liverpool still, everyone. That's where I live. Right? Yeah, so I had these two warrants after me. So of course I couldn't go to my brother's funeral. Anyway, yeah, it eventually got me on the 18th of July 2023. They got me in Tesco's car park, apparently because of ANPR, even though they'd never proved it. I got other suspicions anyway, but better not put it public. So they left my car in the car park. Didn't have a license at this point. And then they got me. On the 19th, I got remanded. I got kangaroo courted at Chester. The prosecution started banging on about my previous convictions. Nothing serious. Well, when I was about 18, 19, I bottled someone, which weren't clever, and I burgled a nappy bar when I was pissed. Thought it was hilarious, me and my mate. It was a bit of a joke. And that's the most serious thing I've ever done. And the GBH is just stupid. Anyway, everything else is just stupid, drunk. Everything was drunk and shit. Everything was alcohol related, just like drunk and disorderly assaults and this and that and the other. A phrase and all this shit. And they started to weaponise that against me. So rightfully so, because the legislation changed in, I think, 2019 about, obviously, when you are under influence, you're not in your sound mental capacity, blah, blah, blah. So I said, obviously, well, objection. Like, that's bullshit. They can't bring all that up. That's discrimination. That's my old life. Nothing to do with me now. And they let it go. Then they started bringing up all these other charges that have come my way that I haven't even had a chance to go and defend myself with. Half of them didn't even turn into charges. None of them went anywhere. And they weaponised that, and the judge let it go. And they just steamrolled me into, of course, prison. And that was me then for another 65 days in prison. Yeah, it was quite brutal. So, and that's that. And obviously, this got stressful. When I was at Chester, I was 12 and a half stone. When I went to prison, I was 9 stone. So I'm putting weight back on. How tall am I?
Yeah.
6'2".
Well, so quite lanky then.
I'm about 5 foot 5.
See, the lowest I've ever weighed was 10 and a half, and I'm just under 6 foot. But even then, I looked ill.
Okay, yeah. That is quite light for someone your size, I would have thought. You'd be sat around the 13.
You'd be pleased to know I'm nowhere near that fucking number anymore.
What do you weigh now then?
Oh, probably closer to 17 stone.
A bit too much and not enough. You're looking healthy, mate, and that's the main thing. If you're feeling healthy and happy, that's what it's
about. Again. Yeah. I feel great.
Well, this brings my little life
I'm really happy. Right? And I'm a really good interviewer.
Say that again.
I said I feel great. I'm really happy, and I'm a really good interviewer.
No, you are good interviewers. What's it? You know, it's not the British bullshit corporation, is it?
Not.
It's not an interview per se. It's not an interrogation. What is an interview? It's just a conversation.
Yeah, it's just two lost souls swimming in a fishbowl. Oh no, that's a song. No, we're just two lost souls having a bit of chat, really. Like we would over a pint, but you don't fucking drink anymore.
Well, over a pint, that will shortly lead to me out there punching coppers with no suspicions. So, Chester, double thingy, got whacked up in prison, 65 days, rattled down to Exeter, no evidence entered for Taunton, done. Now, one of the things they arrested me for was assaulting an emergency worker, along with a fray for the Chester one this time round. Now, the assaulting emergency worker was when they arrested me the first time on this, on the 12th of the 12th, took another phone off me, and I lost my shit. So I reached out the cell, grabbed a bottle of water and threw it like a ninja. That was it. Didn't touch her. And even the judge called bullshit on this day dot. Whenever it got involved, he just literally said, I'm very uncomfortable about this. Why has it been pushed out to Liverpool? Bring it back to Chester. And I think this is where I fucked up. Yvonne Watson, what's happened there is she's been mirrored by the judge. I believe the judges are mirroring what's in front of them. And I've been a bit of a dick for my childhood programme. So Everett turned into a bit of a dick towards the end there. And I didn't do myself any favours. Work in progress. So, yeah, so that went through, come out of prison. Although the last 2 weeks was the most stressful bit. I was down in Exeter. No one bothered as they should have done previously to put in my bail application, because otherwise I would have been released from Exeter after that case at Taunton. So we've done that, and a dickhead judge, I'm trying to think of his name, he was involved with it because my one was away, and he was just dicking me about for 2 weeks. And then finally we got it in front of the correct judge, and he released me. The same day they released me, they're trying to chuck me into a transport and rattle me back to Liverpool. So I've got to the point saying, literally, you're fighting me if you try and get me in it. And then finally the paperwork dropped and I got released. Craig picked me up to Liverpool, and then started with the proceedings for this Chester bullshit. Where all it was, and what I realise now, is all they'd done was they brought in this judge to get rid of it, because of the last thing they wanted was my evidence in the public. Because irrefutably, it proved, sorry, the curtains fell off. Irrefutably, it proved, beyond all reasonable doubt, and they didn't want that shit in the public. Same as Taunton, they didn't want that shit in the public.
Yeah, we've got to be careful what we say on YouTube.
That's why I don't have a channel. It'll last about 30 seconds. Yeah, so they ended up getting kicked out, abusive process. That was that. The judge, I weren't even going to get a cost hearing, so I sent him a closed letter. got my cost hearing, and then he offered me my bus fare home and completely fucked me over. Then since then, I've gone to represent my mate on this thing. I got arrested outside, like for no reason outside. There's no reason outside Liverpool court. We was there supporting. I can't remember what it was about now. Everyone was there. I was literally segregated over here by myself. You had this tart come up to me dressed as a copper, all attitude, and I literally just wrapped her up in like obviously in my language, and so but because I called her, I said she looks like a stripper. She arrested me. She got all offended. That was that.
See, that's an illegal arrest.
Oh mate, it's beyond. Like, with that one there, she said you trespass, and I said, can you prove that? Because last time I checked, it's a public building. Then a colleague dropped it in it because he's literally stationing here on my camera because he tells her no, it's private being used for public because they are private. But everything else. And I said, if you prove to me, then I'll leave. And she couldn't. Then she started going down the obstructing police route, and I'm like shining my camera around. It started getting retarded. You come up to me. There's no one around me. I'm nowhere near people. And like, honestly, you can't make it up. It's just bollocks. That went nowhere, that one. And then, yeah, so this one here. So this was my mate Chris, veteran. He was getting done for Section 5 firearms because of the old address we fell out with his landlord, and we went there. Locks had been changed. She was a nosy bitch, kept like going and looking at his stuff and all this lot, and was breach of contract and da. Because we sent her a notice of conditional acceptance, she retaliated by going for the legal system to kick him out. David Williams turned up there to get rid of his stuff as well when his sister was looking after the house. But he'd already cleared the house out. So after we left, locks were changed. 2 weeks later, the landlady finds this apparently illegal pepper spray that's for animals. So they're trying to do them for Section firearms charge. So for the court case, I sent in a lasting power of attorney paperwork that I am said title, and basically how we're going to play this. We want it to go to Crown, X, Y, and Z. It should have been a 5-minute hearing. So we get all the natural physicians. As we're going into the court, the security, my mates have got all his medals on, and you get a big pin on the back of that. So security made him take his jacket off, and he didn't on his shirt. So I kind of had a go at him saying, how disrespectful, like, do you know what I mean? It's ridiculous. So we go into court, and we start going through it, and they're just giving me all this bullshit reasons why I can't represent him. So I said, have you even read my documents? They're like, no. And they start to read out the documents. Now he was a PJ, this bloke there, and then the clerk, who we know is the actual one driving that ship, or in that banking scenario anyway. So they started to read out the documents, and their asses fell out, and they couldn't get me out of the court quick enough. So they've gone out, bearing in mind, under the Private Security Act, all the security should have their ID cards. In all of these courts, no one, not even the staff, they have empty ID things there with nothing in it. So he's an unidentified security. He comes steaming towards me, and I say, you lay a finger on me, I'll with my pen. Just a comment that come out, didn't mean it. Just from that comment coming in, you know, it's just in the back of the mind there. And I left. That was that. There was no physical interaction, all this lot. Fast forward, my dad was in hospital, so I was in Hastings. So I weren't at the next hearing. There was 5 coppers waiting for me. So I rung up 101 and asked, like, what do you want? And they said, nothing. The police don't want to speak to you. I was like, that's great. Fast forward however long, I get an email from PC Adam Williams asking me to come in for a voluntary interview. So I disclose my private trust and I explaining their procedurals, what they need to do to come at me. He ignores that. Sends me another email. So I send him a sterner email. He ignores that. Next, I'm travelling back from Yorkshire on the Manchester motorway and I get pulled there. There's no warrant out for me. There's a black marker against the car. So this fat's like nicked me, pulled me over and everything else. Chester wouldn't let Manchester process me. So at midday, this is about 8 o'clock in the morning. So Manchester weren't allowed to process me. So Chester come and collected me at midday, got rattled down to there to be released with no charge, but with bail conditions. Yeah, so they stole my car, rattled me down there. What happened is they decided to come up with some section public order offence against this some claim against this security. I've got the court dates and everything else. Chester pushed it out to Wrexham. So I've expressed the private trust to Wrexham, again, sent them all the evidence of my correspondence with the copper, including in their rules, in their legislation, that the crime committed was the unidentified security guard, and that's ignoring the criminal contempt by the judge. And they just ignored it all. And that's kind of where we're at now. They've ignored all correspondence. I've sent every bit of correspondence from all sorts of jurisdictions in there to fold them up. Not all sorts of jurisdictions. I've called them out from the Freemason oath, because of the true Freemason oath. They're meant to uphold the Constitution, or live by the Constitution where they are. So they're actually going against the great architect in their own oath. I've done the fruit of the poisonous tree doctrine. They've ignored that. My latest document, which I'm going to give you to share, is irrefutable. Basically, all the paperwork I've sent, they've ignored. When I've emailed CPS, they wash their hands of it, don't want to get involved. When I emailed the MOJ, they spoke to the judge. They've come back with some incoherent shit about me trying to get the judge's name because they wouldn't give it to me for ages. And just a whole load of bollocks. And then obviously I'm calling out the fact they're a corporation. I supplied their DUNS number. and everything else. But MOJ ain't getting involved either and just sticking up for the judge. So after this last document I've done, where'd you go from here?
Well, the thing is, these people are never going to confess that, yeah, you're right, we have been doing it. You're not going to get it. The best you can hope for is that they just leave you alone and ignore you.
Yeah, which apparently they struggle to do. I've made a point of not being out there in the public and actually don't want to get lifted, obviously. And I've just been out with a few people, from the shadows, just helping the odd person here and there, and kind of keep myself to myself. And then they go and land this on me because the energy harvesting date, and they put my face back out there, don't they? Because they're fucking idiots. So they're now encouraging me. So I'm all in now. I've had to keep myself safe because I've been looking after my dad from a distance and make sure everything's there because he's in his last days. So it's kind of been brutal. I just got me, and that just had me to think about. I'm sure that situation is going to change soon, though. So I've been very tactical. I can honestly say I've been in honour. I'm in honour the whole way through this. So I even said to the judge, look, under duress, all right, set a new date, stay the warrant, set a new date. You have my word, I'll turn up. It's just a plea hearing, so ideally we'll do it remotely. However, if you want me to show up, I'll show up. He wouldn't confirm that he won't remand me. So therefore, why would I go and play that game? He's in complete dishonour. So, and that's that. And obviously, as a beneficiary of God's trust, it would be highly irresponsible of me to go and hand this over to go and get abused, wouldn't it?
Yes, I would say so. But whatever happens, I wish you all the very best. And obviously, I'd like to think that we'll stay in touch. So we will have updates.
Yeah, man.
So, yeah. But listen, thank you so much for your time. I wish you all the very best with it. I will let you know when this airs. I've got some editing to do first. Not just this video, I've got quite a lot of editing to do. I was about 4 days with no broadband, and so I couldn't upload or make videos because it's all online. So I am just playing catch up at the moment. So yeah, thank you so much, mate. I hope everyone else is watching or who has been watching has been able to keep up. It's been one hell of a ride, and yeah, great stories, and what a life you've led.
Hopefully, as I pop up on a few more interviews, I'll become a little bit more coherent for people. But yeah. Listen, I wouldn't mind having another chat with you as well, because it'd be great to cover some of the other stuff that's going on there. Just really to do with the truth and what's really going on, to do with the Octagon Templars, the fact that the police of the Octagon Blue Army, and all this stuff, really, and really maybe touch on the agenda at play and possible routes out of it.
Yeah, well, I'd be more than happy to come back and review our conversation and talk about those things. Just don't get me banned from my only way of earning money at the moment. Yourselves, take care, and I will speak to you all again soon. Bye for now.
Much love. Thank you, Chris.
Cheers, mate. Thank you, mate. All the best.